Hello, I'm Joanna Tobin, President of your Board of Education. Thank you for taking time to learn more about our school system's shift to healthier school hours at the start of next school year. This adjustment moves us to a place that is better for all of our students mentally and physically. The changes align with a plethora of research regarding sleep patterns for children, especially teenagers. That research shows that later start times do lead to teens getting more sleep at the right times for their bodies and development, with a positive impact on attendance, grades, graduation rates, and most importantly, student health. Adolescents require 8 to 10 hours of sleep each night, and younger children need 9 to 11 hours. However, teens fall asleep and wake hours later than younger children due to a shift in their circadian rhythm around the onset of puberty. This shift in school hours means more of our younger students will begin school at a time when they are awake and ready to learn, and teens will arrive alert for first period. Our board is confident the changes will result in more well-rested students who are better prepared to succeed, not just academically, but in other areas as well. The shift will also bring life changes for many of our families, students, and employees, as well as adjustments to traditionally provided services. Bus routing, as an example, will be more efficient. That will mean fewer stops than have been the case in the past, and in many cases, reasonable but somewhat longer walks for students to those stops. The County Police Department has informed us that the condensed window of school openings, about 90 minutes shorter than in prior years, and the ability of each crossing guard to cover fewer schools in that window raises the possibility that there may be more intersections that will not have crossing guards as they traditionally have. The police department is working hard on this issue, but all families of students who walk to school need to be aware of it. Members of our board have spoken with police officials about this matter and will continue to work to address the areas of concern. Our crossing guards come from our communities, and we hope more residents will consider supporting our students in this way. If you are interested in being a crossing guard, please call 410-222-6866. This information session will cover our specialty sites, charter and contract schools, developmental centers, evening high school, and the Mary Moss at J. Albert Adams and Phoenix Academies. If you have students in comprehensive schools, please go to www.aacps.org/YouTube or www.aacps.org/2223 school hours to view the video for your cluster. In addition to 7 district-specific videos, you'll find a session for programs at magnet schools there. Many, many communities throughout the nation have implemented this type of change in school hours for their students and overwhelmingly experienced positive results. We know that you will have questions and concerns. This session will address many of those, but you can find plenty more information at www.aacps.org/2223 school hours as well. If you don't see what you need there, you will find a link to submit your question so that it can be answered. It is important that all families begin preparations now for the new school hours. Doing so will lessen any complications and disruptions in August and get the school year off to a smoother start. By working together, we can show our students how important their health and well-being is to all of us. Thank you for working with us to bring about such an important and positive change for our students. At this time, I'll turn the session over to School Performance Director, Dr. Marquis Duarte, who will provide more details on the shift.
Thank you. Before we look at school start and dismissal times in individual clusters, let's discuss some issues that are common across the county. First, classes will begin at 8:30 a.m. at all comprehensive high schools, 9:15 a.m. at all comprehensive middle schools, and between 8 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. at all comprehensive elementary schools next year. Schools at specialty sites will be a bit different. As was mentioned a few minutes ago, it is important to understand that our 4 charter and contract schools, as well as the non-public placement schools our students attend, all have the autonomy to set their own hours. If your student attends one of these schools, please consult with the school about the hours and bus transportation. A complete list of school hours can be found at www.aacps.org/2223 school hours. The shifts in school hours will bring about many changes to families, students, and staff as well. Chief among them is almost certain to be family schedules and childcare situations. There will likely be additional demand for childcare, and families should start exploring these possibilities now to take care of any needs. Our school system is having discussions with the Anne Arundel County Department of Recreation and Parks, which operates school-age childcare programs in many schools, about potential expansion of those programs. Information on childcare offered through the Department of Recreation and Parks can be found by going to www.aacounty.org and searching for school-age childcare. The latest start times for schools: first classes generally will begin at 8:30 a.m., with the last classes dismissing at 4 p.m., meaning later activities for our secondary students. This will include after-school clubs and certainly athletics. You can expect athletics contests to begin later. The traditional triple header events, with 3 contests at a single site on a given day, will largely be eliminated during the week but continue on Friday evenings. Given that the emphasis on this entire shift is to allow students to get more sleep at appropriate times in order to be better rested, there is, at this time, no plan to conduct high school athletics practices or clubs before school begins. As was mentioned earlier, there are likely to be fewer crossing guards available next year as compared to this year. It is our hope, and we believe the police department's intent, to publish a list of intersections where crossing guards will be stationed prior to the start of classes in August. However, all families with students who do not ride school buses should begin to consider now the logistics of getting their child to and from school. The discussion of buses brings about a perfect opportunity to remind everyone the new mandatory bus registration program being implemented for the upcoming school year. Families whose students are eligible for bus transportation must register them in order to receive that transportation. Those who do not register will not be permitted to ride a bus for the duration of the 2022-2023 school year. If you think there will be any need at any time for your student to ride a bus next year, we urge you to indicate on the registration form that you wish for your student to ride the bus. If you have questions about the bus registration program, please contact your student's school. While the bus registration program is independent of the school hour shift, it is one of the things that will help us plan transportation more efficiently. Our school system is working with a transportation consultant hired by the Board of Education to find additional efficiencies. That project will result in fewer stops and longer walks for some students to those stops. As we maximize efficiency on routes and distribute the number of buses running routes across the county in a different manner, there are also likely to be longer bus rides for some students. Our transportation office is working hard to finalize routes and publish them further in advance of the school year than we have previously, so that families can get accustomed to what will be the new stop times and, in some cases, new locations for stops. We are sure you will have questions and concerns that arise as the new school year approaches. You can find more information, answers to frequently asked questions, and a vehicle through which to ask your own questions at www.aacps.org/2223 school hours. Anne Arundel County Public Schools has 4 charter and contract schools, as well as 8 specialty sites for students. Among the charter and contract schools, Chesapeake Science Point will begin instruction at 8:20 a.m. next year. Among our 3 Monarch schools, Monarch Global in Laurel will start instruction at 7:35 a.m., Monarch Annapolis will open at 8:30 a.m., and Monarch Academy in Glen Burnie will begin at 8:45 a.m. Our Centers for Applied Technology, CAT North in Severn and CAT South in Edgewater, will begin classes at 8:45 a.m. each day, and our 3 developmental centers, Central Special, Marley Glen, and Ruth Eason, will open for students at 9:15 a.m. The Phoenix Academy and the Mary Moss at J. Albert Adams Academy will also begin classes at 9:15 a.m., while the Virtual Academy's hours will mirror those of the county's comprehensive high schools and begin classes at 8:30 a.m. Evening high school classes will begin at 4:15 p.m. Thank you for taking the time to view this informational session. As a reminder, more information and an avenue to ask and get answers to questions can be found online at www.aacps.org /2223 school hours.